make sure this is. Oh dear. Okay. So this should be showing live. Oh dear. Oh gosh. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. Share screen. Chrome tab. So let's drag this over here. Whoops. What the hell? What the? I thought I saw this already. Oh, this is a new one. Oh, what? Well, let me see. Where the heck did my... What in earth? Do 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 do. Hey, Mike. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah, thanks. Good to meet you, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. Just a sec.
Yeah.
I was trying to move tabs around. Excuse me.
Yeah,
And somehow the tab I had for the page I was sharing disappeared on me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Me and my goofiness.
It happens.
Dun, dun, dun. Welcome to WyzGyz Entertainment. This is your host, Wyman. We have a very special guest today. Michael Murphy, creator of Deepwell, The Caliber of Death. Wow, you've got 5. Welcome to the show, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me.
And now, I forgot to check. You have you've done a total of 5 campaigns. Is Deepwell the Samurais and Dinosaurs? That's right.
Yeah. So Samurai was our first campaign, and then we did The Gods Fear Me, which wrapped up a few months ago and will be in fulfillment by September. And we also have our first printing leftovers campaign for Samurai. At this point, I think we're down to 17 copies.
Oh my gosh, that's almost out.
And so yeah, now we're rolling into summer with Deepwell.
Wow, sweet. Well, so is your plan or target to release a book every 3 or 4 months?
We're hoping that by next year we'll be in that position. Yeah. When we jumped headfirst into the world of CG and indie publishing, our goal was to be able to do 2 to 3 campaigns a year and have them fulfill kind of back to back to back.
Nice. Wow. That's going to take a lot of hard work.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's it is what it is. Like the reality is that as a writer, unless you just want to see like one book a year from me, since we're working with, different artists on every project, there's going to be a bit of overlap here and there, and it's a good way to like keep the audience invested. It's a good way to kind of get some of these projects out that we've been cooking for the past few years, and yeah, it's totally doable. It helps to have multiple teams helping you out with this stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, let's play this intro video here. Hopefully, I have audio enabled. We'll see.
Yeah, the first about 5 or 10 seconds is kind of quiet, so it's not you.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, so there is the sound of wind blowing, right?
Yeah, it's a really cool royalty free track I found that starts out, nice and ominous.
All right. I love the font. It's so reminiscent.
Mm-hmm.
Deepwell began as a shining star. 8 square miles of paradise filled with settlers from all over America. However, an infection soon set in. The Block family. You have to look past their smiles to see the evil buried deep inside. Rot. It spreads from their touch. It drains the soul of the land and robs people of hope. It's up to the devil himself. Now watch him work. Deepwell is 32 pages of full-color Western action and adventure, drenched in blood and violence. The Grey Devil is hunting down each and every member of the Block family, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. It's going to be epic. Back us today, and thanks so much for your support.
Sweet. Let me do something real quick here.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Westerns. I grew up on, among other things, Westerns.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Excuse me. What the? Let me see here. Oops. It just dawned on the tongue-tied. It just dawned on me that there was another place on social media I wanted to advertise the stream again.
Oh, sure.
Excuse me. Yeah, I grew up in, with Westerns. And so they're close to my heart.
Oh, that's excellent, man. Yeah, Westerns for me were a thing that I had to grow into. As a kid, I was more of a superhero, horror, sci-fi kind of guy. But around the time like I hit my early 20s is when I first saw Unforgiven.
Oh yeah.
And Unforgiven kind of changed the entire way that I looked at Westerns, and since then, like, I've totally been in love with the genre.
Yeah. It's just that one movie and you got into it?
Oh yeah, I mean, and from there on, like, I was like, like head first, like all the way in, because then you get into, at the time at least, the more modern stuff like Tombstone, Quick and the Dead. Deadwood launched a few years after that, and then I started going back and developed an appreciation for the spaghetti westerns and some of the traditional westerns. Like, I love the genre now.
Oh yeah. There are a lot of a lot of awesome titles that you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Out of curiosity, what were your thoughts on The Quick and the Dead?
I know some purist Western fans hate it. I love it. To me, it's kind of like the Fury Road of Westerns. Like, it's just all duels. And I'm a big Sam Raimi fan, so I mean, look, like the guy gets a pass from me. I really enjoy it, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I initially I didn't care for it, but I do find it entertaining, and I would be willing to. Oops, I meant to. I was trying to design it so that it scrolled across the bottom,
Hmm.
but it didn't work. Oh, all right, that's why I missed that. Oh, I'm suddenly doing something wrong. Ah, I'm boomerang it. What the?
It's all good.
Oh man. Oh no, not that. And then that. Oh, there we go. All right.
There you go.
Oh, gee. Excuse me. By golly, good gracious. Um, yeah, I I thought it was goofy,
Mhm.
but at the same time, it was still fun and entertaining. So
Sure.
I can't be too hard on it for that.
Yeah. What cracks me up about The Quick and the Dead is, as big a fan as I am of Unforgiven, you watch it, and Gene Hackman's just basically playing the same character all over again.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like Sam Raimi saw it and just said to him, Just do that again." And Hackman's like, "What do you mean again? No, again. Just do it again."
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Oops. All right, here we go. All right. So I know you break out into discussing the background, the story, but tell the audience about the story of Deepwell.
Sure, let's do it, man. Um, the book is all about a dark vigilante fighting to free the innocent townsfolk of Deepwell from the evil Block family, while at the same time getting revenge for a huge injustice from over 20 years ago that's tied to the very origins of the town. The Grey Devil takes no prisoners, and neither do the Blocks themselves. It's all out war pretty much from page one. Deepwell is for readers who want a little grit mixed in with their optimism, and it's for adults who are tired of being spoken to like children in their entertainment. There's no baby speak in Deepwell, and we don't pull any punches. There is a redeeming story at its core. We're just a little harsh about getting there. Uh, I want everyone, even those out there who may think they're not into westerns, to feel how I felt checking out stuff like Unforgiven for the first time. Deepwell is one part grim family drama, one part superhero vigilante action story, and one part hyper violent western thriller. It's drawn by Rafael Dantas with full colors by me. The base perk comes in at 15 bucks, and like I always say, we'd love to have everyone listening come along for the ride.
Awesome. Awesome. So, so you're not only doing story, but you're also doing colors.
Yeah, so I usually, my day job is I'm a freelance illustrator, writer, designer, so I kind of do a bit of everything. And yeah, like, getting to work on the coloring for, our projects is kind of a good way for me to work on something comics related as opposed to like my day job where it's usually like greeting cards and, storyboard stuff.
Now, what drove your decision to hire an artist, someone to sketch and do the line art and the inks, as opposed to
Sure.
you doing it yourself?
Um, the honest truth is, as an artist, I'm very, very, very slow. And you combine that with my day job where I'm already in production on a couple of different art projects, and these books would never come out if it was just me. And, so that puts me in a position where, I can work on a script for a month and then have it off to an artist. It just logistically, it's the smarter way to play things, especially if we're trying to build a company.
Now, if you're already on your 5th campaign, is it fair to say that it takes you on average a month to write a script, if you will?
About, yeah. I mean, if I need to do it quicker, I can. But it also depends on the length of the project, and it also depends on how much time it takes before. The way I describe it is before the book is done cooking. Like there's a lot of pre-planning that goes into each project. Like Deepwell. From when I first thought of the concept of Deepwell maybe 6 years ago till now, Deepwell has gone through maybe 7 or 8 different revisions and like wild, alterations to the plot. So it varies, like all that time counts as well,
Did you did you already finish going through the alterations to the plot before you handed it off to the artist?
Yeah, so the way I work is I do a full outline for the book. Like I literally just open up a WordPad file and write 1 through however many pages there are. And I force myself to tell myself the story, like what happens in like 1 or 2 sentences, page by page. And once that's done, like that's when you can kind of go in and start like molding it and shaping it. So by the time I get to actually producing script pages, like I'm pretty confident of what the final product's going to be. But even then, in the lettering, the lettering is like what I consider to be the last phase of edits, because with the lettering, I'm often going in and actually rewriting dialogue because, well, the artist did this expression so well, I don't have to have the character saying this, or there's too much dialogue here, it's cramping up the balloon, so let's go ahead and edit that down to just 1 or 2 sentences, stuff like that.
All right. So wow. I was quite impressed that you're able to knock out a script using WordPad of all things.
Yeah, I know a lot of people use Final Cut. I think that's the name of it, or Final Draft. I don't know, like it. Years and years ago, when I first started getting into writing, it was just quick and easy to just open up a blank file and just start typing, and that's just kind of how I still do things. I don't know what it is. Some of those programs are really nice and the features are helpful, especially like, auto assigning character names and stuff. But I don't know. I just kind of don't mind the kind of meditative act of like writing long form like that in a simple program.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Now, who does the lettering then? Your artist, or do you do it?
So usually it's me, but for this project, I've brought in a letterer. His name's Adam AF. Most people can find him pretty easy on Twitter.
All right.
Yeah, he's been looking and he's been getting into editing a couple different projects, and he's branching out into lettering. So me and him sat down, and he did a couple like samples for me, and they look great. So yeah, he's it. He's the guy, and that's just one more thing off my plate that allows me to focus on just running the business and my day job.
Yeah, looks like there's you got this fantasy style that kind of reads like a narrator, and I like the old disheveled pieces of paper distress look.
Right. Yeah. That's all him.
And then you got the clean, easy to read print, and then exclamations. and larger font size. And then I presume based on smaller font size, it's meant to be whispered.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so in the script there was originally no dialogue in that scene, and this is a perfect example of like editing during the lettering. The space just looked too empty, and it was too harsh a transition from panel 2 to panel 4. So I studied it, and I'm like, okay, well, how about we have one of these guys nervously talking to himself as they're like kind of looking around in the darkness.
Right. Cool. And this freaks me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is such a good look. And then that's literally getting your face blown off your skull.
So yeah, that was I'll tell you, man, that was the moment I knew RAFAEL was the guy for me, because in the script I wrote, and then he gets his face shot off. And what I thought I was going to get was just like, like a burst of red or something. And he literally drew his face getting shot off. And I'm like, oh, man, RAFAEL. Okay. That's how it is.
Well, oh, man, taking it literally.
Yeah.
Oh, that cracks me up. Oh, my gosh. Oh, jeez. Yeah, expressive facial expressions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, after looking at it a while, I realized that it's intentional for the gun revolvers to be red.
Yes.
To
match, Grey Devil has red revolvers.
And is that in part to match his mask and his shirt?
Well, from a design standpoint, yeah, certainly. But yeah, and I was just talking about this earlier tonight. It starts with that like comic book thing of like, we'll do it because it looks cool, but then you kind of have to like put on your big boy pants and go like, okay, like, but now we need a reason why it exists and how it exists. So there's a narrative reason why the guns are forged from red iron, and where the red iron comes from. All that stuff kind of ties into the Grey Devil's origins, and actually is a big plot point coming up in book 2.
Nice. I love this action scene where he just gets smashed and thrown back.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, the image, the scene of someone getting impaled by a weather vane has kind of like been in my head for like a decade almost now.
That's a good way to die.
Yeah. So to actually see it like finally realized on a page is incredible for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see the faint superimposed lettering crash.
Right.
The action sound effect.
Yep.
North, south, east, west. Yep, that's right. And the Cemetery of Forgotten Deeds.
So yeah, that is the cover to the prequel Dime Store novel. So the Grey Devil and the Cemetery of Forgotten Deeds covers everything leading up to the start of the book proper. We get into the origins of the Grey Devil, how he became the man that he is now, and because by the end of Deepwell issue 1, you know who the Grey Devil is. So if you pick up either the swag bag or the perk that includes both the book and the prequel, you can roll right into the prequel and get a bunch more backstory on all that stuff.
Uh-huh. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, I mean, with anything like ComicsGate books and comic books in general, you want to get the background, you want to get the history, you want to see how everything came to be.
For sure.
You want the origin story.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, one of the reasons that we do prequel books with all of our campaigns is it's just kind of fun and gives the reader extra lore if that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
But with Deepwell specifically, there's so much ground to cover because the book basically takes place over a span of 25 plus years. And each book is going to be divided into multiple chapters, and those chapters often take place in different time periods. So we're kind of bouncing all over the place, almost like a Nolan or a Tarantino film.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Wow. Now, out of curiosity, were you using movie directors like Nolan and Tarantino as, in a sense, as influences to try and direct the kind of action or scenes that they might do in a movie, but adapted it on paper?
A little bit. I mean, yeah, I've never made any bones about like so comics is like my first lifelong passion, but like neck and neck with comics is film. My whole life I've been into movies, and as a result, like it's impossible not to have some of that stuff filter into you creatively. So yeah, there are definitely times during the creative process where it's like I'm pulling from, like some of my favorite, comic writers and comic artists, but I'm also pulling from film or TV or even video games a little bit. So everything just kind of rattles around in my head, and this is how it kind of filters out.
Right. Cool. Let's see here. Out of curiosity, so your company name is Chibi Comics?
Yeah, that's correct.
Now, if I'm understanding, Chibi usually means like uh, like a character that has a big head,
Right.
and possibly big eyes, derived from like the manga
Right.
scene.
Yeah. So okay. The short version is yeah, like chibi traditionally means tiny in Japanese, and so originally when my wife and I started our company way back in 2005, we were still living in Chicago, and her cat was named Chibi,
Ah!
and yeah, so that's why the logo is like a little black cat face.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
So yeah, that was the name of her cat, and it kind of stuck, and like now, like over a decade later, we're in this position of like, well, we got to make it work. I mean, at the at the time,
Comics.
right? Like at the time, it worked because we were mostly producing like hand Xeroxed mini comics and stuff, which
Oh,
are
neat.
tiny comics. So it worked, but now that we're a publisher, it's like, oh, okay, well, people will get over it.
And I guess the white portion of the logo represents the C in Chibi.
Yeah, so this is our revised logo, which we've had for about maybe 7 or 8 years now, and the designer is Dennis Salvatierre. He's an incredible designer that people can look into if they're looking for one. He did work for Stan Lee back when he was alive. He's
Oh,
done work for Disney. He's an amazing dude.
wow,
Yeah.
pretty sweet. And Yeah, I misunderstood the image. I kept looking at it thinking it was supposed to be a cute version of Batman.
Oh yeah, okay. No, we're steering far away from copyright claims.
Yeah, yeah. But now that I know it's a cat, that's pretty cute.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's play the video. Let's see. I have audio on. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I backed Samurais and Dinosaurs, so I gotta double check, make sure.
Oh, that's awesome if you did, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I dug it. And I like that Kelsey Shannon cover.
Oh, it's amazing.
Deepwell began as a shining star. 8 square miles of paradise filled with settlers from all over America. However, an infection soon set in. The Block family. You have to look past their smiles to see the evil buried deep inside. Rot. It spreads from their touch. It drains the soul of the land and robs people of hope. It's up to the devil himself. Now watch him work. Deepwell is 32 pages of full-color Western action and adventure, drenched in blood and violence. The Grey Devil is hunting down each and every member of the Block family, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. It's going to be epic. Back us today, and thanks so much for your support.
Sweet. How did you?
We're pretty happy with it.
Yeah, it looks good. How? Let's see. Do I understand? Did I hear right that with your different projects, you're working with different creators and stuff? Is that like an intentional thing where you want to expose the audience to all these different art styles and stuff like that?
It's a mix of things. Like, sure, there's some artists that it's been a dream to work with. Again, the Kelsey Shannon is an amazing example. So when Selena, my wife, and I jumped into ComicsGate, there was a very short list of dream artists that I wanted to work with at some point, and Kelsey, no BS, was number one. And so to kind of luck into hanging out with him on a stream and have him respond so positively to the concept, and that lead into collaborating with him on the new cover for Samurai, like it was a dream come true. So
Nice.
that was Kelsey. But with our other artists, like it's a mix of stuff, man. Like with The Gods Fear Me, that was drawn by Kristen Rossi, who he works on a bunch of stuff for Alterna.
Oh, all right.
And one of my favorite Alterna books, and it's one of my favorite things that he's ever worked on, was a book called Trespasser. And I read that and I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but at some point in my life, I got to work with him. And I reached out to Peter. Peter put us in touch, and it took about a year for work and schedule stuff to line up, but it worked out, and he was in.
Oh, you mean Peter Samedi?
Yeah. I was just like, hey, like, who is this guy? And can you put me in touch with them? And he's like, yeah, Kristen's always looking for work anyway.
Sweet.
Yeah. So with RAFAEL, the truth is, there were two previous artists that were supposed to be attached to Deepwell, but scheduling stuff got in the way, and kind of at the 11th hour when I thought that we were going to have to just postpone maybe into the fall or even next year, uh, I purely by luck stumbled onto Raphael's digital portfolio, and like he kind of works on stuff that's all over the place, but there was something in his work that screamed out to me that he would be good on a Western. And so I commissioned him to do a Lone Ranger pinup. And what he turned into me was incredible. And I knew he was the guy. And once I ran the concept of the book past him, he was all in. So, it was purely by luck that I stumbled onto Raphael.
Wow. Out of curiosity, how did you stumble upon his online portfolio? Did you find his website, or was he on Twitter?
So I usually do a mix of looking through Twitter, Instagram, and DeviantArt. I think I just looked through DeviantArt. No, not DeviantArt. I think I looked through Indiegogo.
Okay.
Sorry, Instagram one day.
Right.
Yeah, I was just looking through Instagram at random art posts, and I think that's where I discovered him. And then from there, on his profile, it took me to his online portfolio, and I really liked what I saw.
Nice. Now, the Deepwell story or saga or whatever, how many issues do you envision it being in total?
Sure. So I plan on it being 3 books, and the first one is 32 pages. Hopefully the second one can be 48 pages. And if things go really well, we're hoping that the third book can be 60 pages. So what you're going to get at the end of all that is a decent sized trade paperbacks worth of material that comes in around 140 or 150 pages.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you ultimately plan on having the whole thing compiled into a single book and available on the campaign, or on the third campaign, I guess?
After the third campaign, sure. So yeah, our plan for the foreseeable future with all our titles is, telling them in 3-issue installments, and then the following year, or later that year, doing a campaign for the entire thing collected as a trade.
Very cool. Now, excuse me, when you did your WordPad scripting,
yeah,
does it contain everything in book 1, or is it the entire saga across the 3 books?
Well, what I specifically send to Raphael or whoever the artist is just what they need to know for the first, book. But in my own private file, it's the script, and then at the bottom of the script is kind of loose notes and thoughts and random sentences or scenes for stuff that I know I want to have in book 2 and book 3. With the Gods Fear Me, for example, I know exactly what the end of the entire story is, shot for shot, scene for scene, and
Right.
I already have a rough breakdown of panels in my head. But then with something like Deepwell, I know where I'm going, but right now at least it's kind of more loose in my head, and there could be room for a bit of deviation, or one of the characters saying to me no, that's not what's going to happen, but we'll see.
All right. Let's see here. All right, so you had the content for the first book ready. When before you hand it off to the artist, did you take any time and write? I mean, sketch out thumbnails, or did you just kind of let the artist's imagination run free and then you reviewed the work after it was completed?
Sure. So what I'll do is if there's something really specific in the script that I see in my head that for storytelling purposes I need to be rendered in a specific way, I'll do a sketch showing specifically what that is. But in general, when it comes to working with artists, I like to be as hands off as I can be, unless there's something absolutely that I don't agree with or I think needs revisions. Because my thought process when it comes to comics is the book is half theirs creatively,
Right.
and it's like I've heard and seen, and again, as a as an artist, been involved with too many examples of writers or creative directors who don't know how to let the artist do their job, even though that's what they hired them for.
Right. True.
Yeah. So, unless it's something very specific, I just kind of hand in the scripts, and my scripts are very minimal on, camera direction and stuff. I kind of leave all of that to them. I kind of look at the artist as the cinematographer almost. And just, like what I get back is often far exceeds, how I saw it playing out in my head.
Gotcha. So let's see here. Checking out. Actually, let's play this video again.
Sure, you got it.
I like that the font is just large enough so it's easy to read, and also on screen long enough for you to be able to have the time to read it.
Exactly. Yeah, putting together trailers has kind of become one of my new favorite parts of running campaigns and making books.
Deepwell began as a shining star. 8 square miles of paradise filled with settlers from all over America. However, an infection soon set in. The Block family. You have to look past their smiles to see the evil buried deep inside. Rot. It spreads from their touch. It drains the soul of the land and robs people of hope. It's up to the devil himself. Now watch him work. Deepwell is 32 pages of full-color Western action and adventure, drenched in blood and violence. The Grey Devil is hunting down each and every member of the Block family, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. It's going to be epic. Back us today, and thanks so much for your support.
Cool. So for perks, we've got the book prequel and swag. You get a copy of Deepwell, prequel dime store novel, and one set of swag bag bonuses: a map of Deepwell, a set of 7 character design trading cards, a print of Myra Block by Vinnie Tartamella. Oh wow! A print of Grey Devil by John Mayall. Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
you got some big guys here. Sequel plus prequel plus swag. That's pretty darn good for the swag bag feature.
Yeah, I lucked into both both John and Vinny being free at the same time. That'll never happen again.
Yeah. I think they're both busy in fulfillment now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
My goodness, that's cool. That's a good deal. And as I tell everybody, I love it when a creator offers a featured tier because it gives you your best bang for your buck.
For sure.
And gives you the best way to experience the book that's being promoted. That you're checking out. So we got Deepwell, 1 copy, the single physical copy.
Mm-hmm.
We got a 2 copy tier, 2 physical copies. Then we got a book and a prequel, single copy and a prequel mini. So are these the actual dimensions or reference so that the original book is the standard comic book size and the other is like an ash can?
Yeah, the Dime Store novel is going to come in at about 5.5 by 8.5. Like if you've ever had an ash can or a mini comic, it about that size.
Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. Copy and a prequel mini. We got to support the troops. Is it 2/3 or 2 of 3?
Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, what we've done since Samurai and Dinosaurs is we've offered the For the Troops thing, and it's 2 copies to you and 3 copies to the troops, fulfilled via Operation Paperback.
Huh. All right. Cool. I think those are fun tiers because our military people need entertainment.
For sure. Yeah, and it's worked out great for us over the past 2 campaigns so far. So, as long as people are happy with the results and people are happy to help out, there's no reason for us not to keep offering them.
Yeah. I've always wondered though how Operation Paperback decides who to DV them to.
Well, I won't because I don't know if they want me to. I won't get into like a lot of the specifics.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, by all means.
But it's like way more complex. I don't want to say complex because it's not difficult. It's way more involved than I thought it was initially.
Okay. All right. Right on.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So then we've got I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, the Drogas Blanco special.
Yeah.
Cial.
Yeah. So,
Whoa.
yeah, this is another carryover from the Gods Fear Me. Our 872 perk for Gods Fear Me was called the Schemes and Scams special. And so yeah, this is the White Drug special. I mean, like, not to rehash an old story at this point, but about a year and change ago, a very prominent member of ComicsGate kind of left in a big huff, and I was kind of in the middle of all of that with a few other creators. And $872 was the amount that he held over my head when I was like, no, I want to walk away from your website. So in honor of that, every campaign will have an $872 perk.
I was wondering where that came from.
Yeah. And we make sure that you get your money's worth. This is kind of the way for, like the higher end backers to like really help out and support the project.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get everything from the swag bag. Plus, you're going to be getting a proof copy of Deepwell, of which there are only going to be 5, and it's the same way with Gods Fear Me. You'll get an original 11 by 17 piece done by me and Selena Hernandez. And the big one is you're going to be getting the final page of the book, the original art, done by RAFAEL DANTAS, which is a big thing because he's a digital artist. So we convinced him to work physical for this one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Original notes by Mike Murphy, Selena Hernandez. The final page, Deepwell, Caliber of Death. Dang. Sweet.
And yeah, that final page is going to be a doozy.
Nice. Wow, that's looking good. So we've got you're at 2064, which is 34% of your $6,000 fixed goal, and that I'm sure covers everything from cost hiring the artist uh, and production and shipping, all that good stuff.
Right. Yeah. You know, since we've been around for about 2 years at this, but still, like, since we're an up and coming studio, we tend to run our campaigns really lean. And the 6K is the bare minimum we need to get everything to everybody. You know, it's our artist fee. There's a very small cut that goes to us because we're taking office hours off to work on this stuff.
Right.
And the entire rest of the budget is all printing and shipping.
Right on. So we got 16 days left in funding, 47 backers, 2064. I think I'm on the most recent version of this. Let me see, 2064 and 47. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a big backer this morning, which was great, and yeah, I'm hoping over the next 2 days heading into the weekend that we can make up that ground so that, you know, by the time we hit the 15-day mark, we're like right where we're supposed to be.
Gotcha. Sweet. And so it's got 16 days left of funding. When that expires, do you do another 30 days of funding, or does it go to in demand?
Some creators choose to do another 30 as, you know, almost like a victory lap. And you know, like, I'm not saying I won't do that. I mean, if we have to extend to get the rest of the funds, of course we'll extend. But again, like, working with several different artists and a whole bunch of different schedules, when the book hits funding, like, we kind of need to go right into production.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like, assuming we hit our goal, we'll of course keep it open in demand for probably the next 6 months. And yeah, like, hopefully, you know, middle of July, RAFAEL will be working on the pages.
All right. All right, good deal. And let's see. All right, so no updates yet, no comments. Let me check something real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'll probably be posting an update to the campaign by the end of the week because I'm going to be putting together a short 30-second trailer. So that'll probably be an update for backers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right. I think the whole map idea is cool.
Yeah, you know, it was a very, I wasn't planning on it, and I just kind of mentioned it to Adam, and he just wrote in all caps, "I want my map." So yeah, Adam's responsible for that happening.
Yeah. Do you already have plans to put it on that weather stain looking paper? That
Yeah, like we're working out the logistics of that right now. Like, so for example, for people who signed up to the mailing list before the campaign went live,
Uh-huh.
they're going to be getting a wanted poster print of the Gray Devil.
Huh. All right. Cool.
And it's formatted to look old and weathered, but it's just a standard print.
Right. Right.
We don't know if we're going to go that route or if we're actually going to try to like weather and age the map a little bit. I don't know.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you anticipate any time during this campaign adding a tier or two where you would write in a backer as like a thug or a gunfighter, or write in a be in the book kind of tier where they get killed in some crazy way or something like that, as some campaigns do?
Yeah, when we reach the halfway point, I'm considering it. We did with God's Fear Me, and we had I think 2 or 3 people take us up on it. So I might. I'll have my mind made up by Friday.
Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. It looks pretty cool.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
All right. Cemetery of Forgotten Deeds. Oh, and there are some campaigns. I think it might have been the first book of Grim Reaper 1,
Mhm.
where
Yeah.
they put people, backers' names on the gravestones.
Right, that's right, yeah.
Cemetery gravestones. I love the silhouette of this crow, too.
Thanks. Yeah. So the prequel will be a dime store novel, so it's going to be mostly prose, but it's going to contain spot illustrations by Fernando, who did the cover, and he'll be handling those spot illustrations as well. So this art is going to kind of be peppered throughout the book itself.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, I used to know what a dime store novel meant, but can you refresh my memory?
Yeah, sure. It in a way, it's kind of a carryover from the Gods Fear Me, because with the Gods Fear Me, so much of that book is rooted not just in cyberpunk but Lovecraftian lore. That we wanted to do our take on like a pulpy, Penny Dreadful novel in honor of Lovecraft. And so with this, we wanted to take the concept and bring it back even further than that to like the real roots of like where all the pulp stuff started, which was the dime store novels. So, in the Old West, leading all the way up to like the 20s or so, when the pulp started, um, kids could go in and, to like a drugstore or wherever, and they could get these little one and done adventures that were like little tiny novels. And they also had, spot illustrations throughout the book of, just like the Lone Ranger, like sneaking into the window and stuff like that. So, the Gray Devil and the Cemetery of Forgotten Deeds is kind of harken back to that a little bit. And I just thought it was a great way to kind of keep the reader in that headspace and get them a lot of juicy prequel info.
Mm, cool. Cool. So awesome. Um, Man, it is looking good. Let me see
Mhm.
if I have it. Oh, all right. I'll have to check later. I think I still have to back this, and I'm eyeing the swag bag. So definitely going to have to back this. And I wanted to thank you so very much for the pleasure of having you on my channel.
Well, yeah, I mean, thanks for having me, man. And if you end up backing, thank you in advance. We'd love to have you. And
Okay.
yeah, it was fun, man. It was great just hanging out and chatting with you for a while.
Oh, likewise. And I'd love to have you on again too.
Yeah, anytime, man. Just hit me up.
Cool deal. Would you tell the audience? Well, most of my videos get views on replay.
Sure.
How can people reach you?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter at Chibi_Mike. You can also find me on YouTube at the Chibi Mike, all one word. And every Sunday I do a show called CG One-on-One, where I sit down with one other CG creator and we just kind of have a conversation. You know, there's a bit of shilling, there's a bit of promotion, but it's just kind of the Joe Rogan format of like, let's have a conversation and just see where it goes, you know?
Nice. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. And you can reach me on Twitter at WyzGyz Tweets, on Twitch under WyzGyz Twitches, I think, and YouTube under WyzGyz Entertainment. Thank you again for the great pleasure of having you, and definitely want to have you on again in the future.
Anytime, man. Thank you so much.
All right. We're going to end the broadcast in 3, 2, 1.